Darkest Hours is a multiplayer survival horror game on Roblox that's recently been gaining some traction on YouTube within the past few days. It's actually been around at 2024 on May 11, but it only started getting popular within this year. Like, jeez, if my memory serves me right, I'm pretty sure the only game I played during 2024 was Right to Fight. And it was only Right to Fight. Why, you may ask? Well, it was the only game that allowed me to beat up the to feel like John Yakuza. But it was mostly because I was bored and didn't have any better games on my Simpleton 9. Stupid! You all know the effect of Roblox having lots of games but almost zero games actually being worth playing. Going back to Darkest Hours, I've actually played the game for a while and, well, it's definitely an interesting game. If you are familiar with Midnight Horrors, which I only played once and then never again, then this game basically has a similar premise. You run away from scary monsters called entities, some of which are existing IPs who may or may not fit within the horror genre at all. Seriously, they literally have King from Combat Initiation in this game. What is he doing in this game? I don't know, but I don't think he knows either. The game's basically Midnight Horrors 2, and it's made by the same developers who created Midnight Horrors. Cool, right? So without further ado, let's get right into what Darkest Hours has to offer and what kind of stuff you can... Oh, gosh. Start off, Darkest Hours is a fairly basic system. You have 100 HP and 100 stamina. This obviously means you can sprint, but not forever. Then sprinting, however, you can also crouch. But you may be wondering, why can you crouch? That's because the entities in this game actually have ears and can hear your footsteps, meaning that if you're anywhere near them and you decide to just sprint, because they can hear your footsteps, they'll know exactly where you are. To counter this, crouching makes zero noise. Ooh. Which allows you to sneak past some of the entities, but not all of them. If your stamina starts getting low, there will be these black stuff emerging from the edges of your screen, which is basically a big indicator that says you're nearly out of fuel. If you fail to notice this in time, then that's probably just a skill issue in your end, because it's very obvious, to be honest, unless if you are like incredibly oblivious or something. You can also jump.
Boy, if you don't get your squiggly diggly head.
But that wastes your stamina, and it's not really that useful unless we know how to do a dive. Dive is pretty complicated, but all you really need to know is that you simply just have to be sprinting, then jump while sprinting, and then hold the crouch button on the way down. It's incredibly useful, but I honestly couldn't find a proper way to do it since my PC for some reason doesn't allow me to hold shift and press space at the same time. Like, whenever I hold shift, it allows me to sprint, yeah, but when I press space, it doesn't allow me to jump because I'm holding shift. I don't really get why that's a thing, why my keyboard decides to do that, but I guess that's really just how it is. Now, if you get killed, you're not actually dead yet. Instead, you are just downed and people can revive you. But that's also assuming that people even bother going back to help you. If you are killed a second time though, well, that's where you actually die.
Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake!
Your HP also slowly regens itself if it's not full, so I guess that's pretty cool. You also have a flashlight that you can use by pressing F, and if you're holding an item, your flashlight will be attached to your shoulder instead. Truly, technological advances have reached its peak. We now have shoulder-attachable flashlights that look exactly like a normal flashlight. Also dang, I think this flashlight is from Temu or something because sometimes it just doesn't light up anything at all. The mechanics don't really take that long to get used to, unless if you're new to games like these, but I do want to point out how slow the stamina regen is. What I mean by this? Well, I've recently just found out myself that if you're moving while your stamina is regenerating, it's actually much slower. But if you stay still, or if you're crouched, it regens much faster. Which is weird. Like, can't my stamina just regen as fast as when I'm standing or crouching whenever I decide to just walk instead? Like, why would I ever stand still or crouch while entities chasing after me? Like, isn't that a waste of stamina or something? Hey, no, it's not a waste of stamina. Isn't that a waste of distance? You basically spawn into rounds, which are called trials by the way, and there are 4 in total. The first 2 trials are mostly nothing burgers and are exactly the same. The third trial is always a special round, and the fourth has you running towards an exit that's in the form of an eye, whilst black borders close in to try and kill you, all while a single entity guards the exit. Each trial has either one of 2 objectives that are basically attempts to keep you actually engaged in the game, instead of just hiding in a corner and watching YouTube shorts. These objectives are called Collect and Capture. For Collect, they're basically random pieces of scrap scattered around the map that you have to collect to fill a quota that ranges from 70 to 500 plus. Not sure if that's accurate, but the lowest my quota has ever gotten in the game was 73, and the highest was somewhere within 500, so yeah. There are also different kinds of scrap, with each having a different value that tries to help you reach your quota faster. But all you gotta really know for the different kinds of scrap though is this: bigger scrap equals more value added to quota. As for capture, they're basically just at 1 TF2 game mode. Stay on a control point to slowly capture it, but if you get off any time when it's not yet captured, its progress gradually goes down. This objective spawns 3 control points, and they're usually out in the open, so you really just have to end up risking yourself just standing out in the open as if you're just waiting for someone to kill you. As it's just there for the tension. I don't know, man, this one objective is honestly the most stressful one, if I'm gonna be honest. Hey, at least you're playing with 19 other people in the server. So that means some of them can distract the entities while you do the objectives with other people, right? Well, that is true. Until they lead the entity towards control point and possibly getting you downed while trying to do the objective. Now, you may be thinking, do you have to even complete these objectives to win? Well, yes, but also, no. Completing the objectives definitely contributes in a way, but there isn't any punishment for not doing them. Seriously, nothing even happens from failing to complete your objectives. If we do complete them though, the trial usually ends quicker. If everyone does their objectives during the collect objective, the timer decreases by a lot. Same goes to capturing all control points in the capture objective. But after completing objectives, the game kinda just turns into a hide-and-seek stream where you're mainly just trying to avoid entities. Also, for the decreasing of the timer, I'm not exactly sure if that's accurate, but that's kinda what I experienced during my hours of gameplay in this game, but I'm not really sure if that's accurate. You spawn with 3 random items every trial so that you can at least do something to help yourself or others instead of being either curb stomped or just hiding. These items mostly help you, but there are some which are just generally buns that you probably shouldn't even use them at all. Unfortunately, the game never tells you what these items do and kinda just wants you to figure it out yourself or even read the wiki. And let's be honest, some of you probably never knew that there was a wiki to begin with until now because, well, you heard me mention it. So I decided to do you guys a favor and explain what each item does in the simplest way possible. Okay, so here we go. Back. There's a long wind-up, and landing it allows you to smack the entity and stun them. You can also do a parry by holding the special ability button. Just defaulted to M2 for some reason. Hit an entity's attack and stun them, but the stun time is less, so make sure you start getting your ass out of there fast. Can only be used 3 times, but doesn't waste charge if you miss a swing. Just make sure you can handle moving 1 stun per second for a while. Riot Shield. Basically charge forward, and the charge lasts depending on how much stamina you have. You can steer it by slowly turning a camera, and you can also get faster the longer your charge lasts. Basically allows you to pretend you're a SWAT officer pushing through a crowd of protesters. Having an entity knocks him away and stuns them. Has only 3 uses as well, and these uses are wasted by either ramming a pillar or being a doofus and ramming a wall, props, construction, or even, I don't know, the world border. As you do a bit of a long wind-up before firing. This long range, it can only be used 6 times. 3 of his shots are blanks, and it's a 50-50 on whether your shot will be a live or blank. After you fired off all 3 live shots, the rest will be just blanks. Also, I guess the gun's from the free shop or something, because what do you mean half of my shots are just air? Cheeseburger. Can be used 2 times and heals you by 50 HP. That's it. Pizza. Same as cheeseburger but less healing. Basically the less cooler Daniel of healing items. Sandwich. Definitely not the actual name for this item, but I prefer calling it like this because free will. Also, the riot shield's name is apparently Riot Coil according to Dubiki, so there's that I guess. Basically a cheeseburger, but it can either make you undergo spontaneous human combustion, give you an experience of getting tased, or just make your legs go limp. The coolest but dumb Daniel of healing items. Speed Cola. Can only be used once and is probably filled to the brim with adrenaline shots since it fills your stamina bar back to full and makes you faster for a while. Speed Coil. Probably gives even more adrenaline shots since you get a better speed boost, but touching a wall makes it bounce like a ping pong ball. Has only 2 uses, but it doesn't fill your stamina bar. Radar. Basically an entity tracker that only tells you how far the entity is, but not where specifically. Also has a visual indicator to tell you if the entity is getting closer, and is overall an actually pretty solid item. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, it's actually really useful even though it doesn't really do much. Tablet. Probably not the official name for this thing, but I think this sounds better. Plus this thing is probably mostly just worthless. Like, on the same level as a suspicious sandwich. Pressing the special ability button makes you set down the camera right where you stand. Pressing M1 allows you to look through each one. You can also pick a camera back up by pressing the special ability button while you're near one, and only 3 can be placed. Basically an item that's only useful on specific maps and corner camping, so that's about it. And yeah, those are all the items currently in Darkest Hours as of today. There's more that's gonna be added, and I don't know if this video is gonna be kinda late, but they're not adding any new items yet, so this video is probably still up to date. Lastly, I'm gonna be talking about the special trials since there's quite a handful of them and they definitely need a proper explanation. As I mentioned at the start of this section, every 3rd trial is a special event, and these special events are always a pain in the ass. They mainly exist to spice things up, but I personally feel more stressed when these rounds come up because I have a high percentage of dying in these rounds most of the time. Only one of them gets selected, and the special events are as follows. Blackout. Everything's basically pitch black because I guess someone forgot to pay the electricity bills or something. Fortunately, there's only 2 entities, but that doesn't erase the fact that you can get jump scared by some of the entities. Also, apparently the amount of entities that spawn naturally depends on what map it is, but it's usually just 2, so you don't have to worry about that fact that much. Fog. Basically darkness, but light edition. That's it. Bloodbath. Spawns more entities as the round progresses to the point where the whole gang will be chasing your dumbass throughout the entire. This is the main reason why I dread the 3rd trial. Double Trouble. Spawns twice the amount of entities that spawn in a trial. Dog. There's gonna be this weird looking girl in front of your screen who will force you to play red light, green light. Girl, what the? Just don't move when she opens her eyes, even when you're down. Husk. An ugly purple dude will start following you. Soon more purple dudes will spawn as the trial progresses. Basically a conga line of estranged children who finally found their dad that never came back with the milk. Infection. An extra entity spawns in the trial when the player dies. That's it. Just don't die. Maps are usually separated into 3 difficulties. Easy, medium, and hard. The easy maps are usually wide open, the medium maps are somewhat smaller, and the hard maps are even tighter with very few hiding spots. Although, if I'm gonna be honest, some of the difficulties for the maps are kinda inaccurate at times. The maps are also based off of existing stuff like Wonderland.jar, Petscop, TF2, and other obscure Roblox games that almost nobody ever mentions in their lifetime. Also, I could have sworn that most maps were hard maps. Like, my goodness, it feels like a rare occurrence to encounter an easy map in a hard map. Oh, and speaking of maps, you're probably not gonna be able to experience most of the other maps because people have a habit of selecting these specific maps whenever they show up in the map token. My brother in Christ, can't we play on a different field? pretty much the main highlight of the game. I won't be too specific on the entities. What I do know is that they usually attack fast. And it hurts. Like, a lot. Like I had stated somewhere in the intro, some of the entities are existing IPs. And I would also like to add that they're not just Roblox IPs, but also IPs from games outside Roblox. These non-Roblox IPs include Bald Teacher, Slendy Tubbies with Knives, even more Slendy Tubbies, Scrappy Guy, One Hello Neighbor mod, Two Steves and a All Black Guy, this purple bugger that get added first instead of Aoni. Seriously, why is this guy already in the game but not Aoni himself? He doesn't even look intimidating, he looks just like a chud. They also have this robot dog, this other dog that's from VR chat apparently, this walking hitbox of instant death, this milk carton, this tiny dude, train crew, this bootleg Lego guy, this troll face, dudes from Pac-Man, and this robot from Ultra Kill. Why is Ultra Kill here? Girl, what the f- Fortunately though, the original creators of the Roblox IPs in this game definitely gave permission for them to be in Darkest Hours, but I don't know about the non-Roblox IPs though. It's definitely gonna be a bit of a problem, but if I'm gonna be honest, I would give my respect to the devs for having balls of steel to even pull this off. I mean, if I tried doing this, I'd probably have the entire SWAT team looking for my goofy ass, and I'm gonna get sued for stealing property, something like that. They're probably gonna bust down my door and something and start arresting me or something. What I don't like about the entities though is the fact that most of them can kill you in like 1 to 4 hits. I've stated earlier, most entities attack fast, and they hurt a lot. Entities are also generally faster than you and feel like a young toddler asking if you have games on your phone with how most of them almost never get off. Some of them also have special abilities, but they all still follow the same formula of run towards person and smack them quickly in the back of the head. There are also blind entities who can't see but have better hearing, and these ones are usually the most annoying ones because they're always faster than you. I could talk more about the entities and stuff, but there's unfortunately too many of them to even fit into this video, so I'm planning to make a separate video for them. Cause, you know, I kinda like this game. Oh, and since we're already on the topic of entities, did you know that there's upcoming entities for this game?
Huh?
Yeah, that's right. The entities that we currently have in the game isn't even the full batch of entities that we're gonna face in the near future. And if I'm gonna be honest, when I was looking through the wiki for the upcoming entities of this game, I generally couldn't even tell which one was an existing IP and which one isn't anymore. Like, this game is just generally just a Fortnite of survival horror. Like, no, not just survival horror. Multiplayer survival horror. No. Actually, no, it's not just Fortnite. I don't think it's even Fortnite. I think it's more like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Because what do you mean they have the literal murder drones, 3 enemy groups from Decaying Winter, the monsters from Lobotomy Corporation, and Wenda from Sprunky?
Boy, if you don't get...
Like, seriously, Wenda? You expect me to be intimidated by this why is the cat like tree stump? This tree stump looking cat girl thing. Girl, what the f- What is so scary about her? Like, oh yeah, she has blood in your face. Oh, she has an eye. Oh, she has like a scary look. Like, get her out of here. Herb Stump is bugger in real life, I swear. Like, her height is not even half my waistline. You ain't gonna pull off an SUV or something. Like, come on, bro. This ain't even like a thing. Or this ain't even an entity. This is a punching bag. My overall opinion is that Darkest Hours is honestly a decent game. It's definitely lacking some proper things to make it fun, but for pre-alpha, it's definitely a good start. Even though the entities kind of feel unfair to go up against at times, I think it's part of the fun, and it generally feels really rewarding for managing to survive them. Besides, when you compare the entities here to the entities in Midnight Horrors, the entities in Darkest Hours are definitely more doable. You have no idea how many ultra-fast entities there are in Midnight Horrors, and how so many of them are capable of killing you in seconds with almost no counterplay times. I sure hope the devs add more into this game. And by more, I don't mean just emeralds, okay? Like, there's already a lot, we don't need even more. Like, what I mean by more is, like, as in rewards, new mechanics, and other quality of life updates that could help the game feel fun rather than get boring after a while. So, yeah, that's basically Darkest Stars, a chaotic, multiplayer survival horror game where you run from scary monsters, some of which being IPs, and yeah. Did you play it? Well, yeah, duh. Will I play it? Of course. Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe for making this fun to the video, and I'll see you guys next time. I guess. I don't really know how to properly end this video, so I'll just abruptly stop it from here. Okay, bye!